In the words of Ernest Hemingway, every man's life ends the same way. It is only the details of how he lived and how he dies that distinguishes one man from another. Geoff BERNASCONI was a man of great worth and reliability. He was honest, noble and hard-working, and this is how we will remember him. Good morning and welcome to this service of Thanksgiving for the wonderful life of Geoffrey Paul BERNASCONI. My name is Jessica, and it is my privilege and an honour to be conducting this service as we come together to support one another with love and compassion with the loss of Geoff, aged 67. I thank you for your presence and valued support here today, as the man you have come to honour and to grieve touched many and touched them deeply. When death occurs, we become aware of the fragility of life, and we realise that death is the common destiny of all living creatures. As human beings, we are a part of the eternal world of nature. This dynamic nature is characterised by change. Every existing thing is transformed through a process of birth, growth, and death. Transience and death are natural and understandable in our universe. Life and death are different but essential aspects of the same creative process. It is nature's law that living organisms should eventually retire from the scene and make room for newborn generations. In this sense, then, life affirms itself through death. When we're emotionally involved in the lives of other people, we will grieve at our loss. Grief is an inevitable part of the life of any normal person. Life means grief, and love means grief in time. To facilitate grief's work, let there be tears and let there be talk. Talk about Geoff's life and talk about his death. Be thankful for the relationships you had with him. Nothing can change the experiences that you shared with him. The past is secure and cannot be changed by time or circumstance. Be thankful that Geoff was and still is a part of your lives. He lives on in the hearts and memories of all those who knew and loved him. I now invite Kate to come forward and share with us the eulogy, followed by anyone else who wishes to speak.
Our dad, Geoffrey Paul BERNASCONI, was born on the 14th of May, 1956 to proud parents Gloria and Cecil BERNASCONI in Parkes, New South Wales. Affectionately called Jess by his mum and the baby brother to Yvonne and Victor. He loved his dog Timmy and went to Edmund Rice Catholic High School in Wollongong. He shared many stories about his childhood with Georgie, including when he was younger he had chickens in his backyard. And he decided that he wanted them to be white chickens. So off he went and literally painted all the poor chickens white. And I guess only Ma and Pa really knew the fate of those poor old chooks. He joined the police force on the 23rd of January 1978 and was medically discharged in September 2000 as a Detective Senior Sergeant Acting Inspector. He was such a smart man, always excelling in his studies, even graduating with honours from his forensics course. He had many jobs as a forensic detective that remained with him until his death, and he held those feelings close to his chest. He didn't speak often about these memories as they brought so much trauma and hurt, and he deeply connected with the families and always went above and beyond to ensure that they were okay. You could speak to anyone that was associated with Dad throughout his policing career. It's all right, take a break. It's all right. and they would all say the same thing about him. Being the most incredible, kind and generous man that helped them throughout their most darkest days. A book was written by a friend, Esther McKay, and it wasn't until I read this book myself did I realise the pain and torment that he had endured. Dad had 4 children, Scott, Katie, Emily and Tom, and 3 grandchildren, Riley, Kai and Matilda. Dad lived in Warilla, Barrack Heights, Ingonia, Urana, Wagga Wagga, Coolaman, Bateman's Bay, and finally here in Harvey Bay. He loved the beach and found solace in listening to the waves, watching them crash and move, losing himself in that precise moment, away from thoughts that hurt him, even for just that moment. Showing people his favourite beaches lit him up. Casey's Beach in Bateman's Bay was one of those beaches, taking myself, Chris, Riley, Kai and Matilda to collect shells and driftwood. Dad loved his garden, always tinkering around making mini fish ponds and planting new plants. His gardens were always immaculate and always had the most stunning roses in the street. He also had a love for power tools. My husband Chris would always know where to find a tool if he needed one. Dad would have it, and if he didn't, he'd head to Bunnings to buy one, as I needed one of those anyway, he'd say. And I'm almost certain that Dad never actually really used any of them.
Didn't.
And he did like to shop and would always make me laugh when he'd come home with some new fandangle thing and unbox it. There was always something missing. The Bernasconi curse, he'd say, and off he'd go to the shop in a huff to swap for another. Unfortunately, he passed this curse on, as this always happens to me too. Going to Dad's every second weekend, he'd cook his famous Dad's hamburgers, where you couldn't even wrap your lips around them, they'd be so jam-packed. He always had a love for cooking meals for everyone, always picking as he cooked, rarely hungry once dinner was served, serving it up for everyone else to enjoy. He loved to attend the Sunday markets, where I know I was a complete pest wanting him to buy me things. One thing, a silly thing in particular, a clown doll on a swing. And I have no recollection on how much these clowns cost, but figured they must have been quite expensive, as I was always disappointingly met with a no, not today, Katie. Then when my birthday rolled around, he'd in fact bought me that clown on a swing. The exact one that I wanted. And I was so excited and so happy that he'd remembered.
You're doing great.
My primary school was on a main road in Wagga, and the infants' playground was right at that fence line. I remember some lunchtimes I'd hear sirens and look up and hear over the police car microphone saying, "Hello, Katie and Scotty Bernasconi," and driving off with the lights and sirens in his arm out the window. Of course, I thought I was pretty much the bee's knees when he'd do this, beaming with pride, telling everyone that's my dad. As my parents had separated when I was quite young, I never felt tension or hate between my mum and dad. And until my adult years, I thought that all split families were the same. My mum and dad always stayed true to us kids and made sure that we never went without. And when I got married in 2006, my dad pulled me aside and asked, "Well, I was thinking about this walking you down the aisle business." And I thought, well, what's he thinking here? Because of course you'll walk me down the aisle. And he said,
Do you want me to take over?
"No.
Okay. Just pause.
Your mum-in-laws have helped to do the most amazing job bringing you up, and I'm so grateful for that. And I would like it if they could walk you halfway down first, and then I'll give you away at the altar." It showed how proud he was to be my dad, and how big his heart was to acknowledge others before himself. And I'll never forget his selflessness that day. Sunday nights were roast dinners at Dad's house when he lived in Balramore Crescent, and he always fed us up with multiple courses. And my favourite parts about these nights were when we would go downstairs and he would put on his massive surround sound system, play his karaoke machines that he'd brought, and we would sing and play music until some ridiculous hour. He loved it when Chris and I would sing, teaching us to harmonise together. I'm sure we actually really did sound terrible, but he loved it all the same. Music was always such a big part of Dad's life, playing in many bands and gigs at pubs over the years. He could never actually read music, but he could play just about anything simply by listening to the chords. An early band he played in during the 70s was called the Cheesecloth Contraption, where Dad was their front man on guitar and vocals. Sitting up at the bar, drinking raspberry lemonades, and eating plain crinkle-cut Smith's chips while he sang were always a fun time. Wednesday mornings was Poppy Pa and Kai time. I had to take Riley to appointments on Wednesdays, and I asked Dad if he could help me out to watch Kai. He jumped at the chance, and the two musketeers would trot off together, driving to lunch dates and, of course, visiting Dad's favourite shop, Bunnings. These were such special days for Kai, and it concreted a bond that could never be broken. His favourite pop, he would and continue to say when describing Dad. Dad sadly passed away in his sleep on the 20th of December 2023, and he leaves behind his beautiful wife Georgie, his 4 children and 3 grandchildren, and I know that he'd be hating all of this fuss, but we're all here to say goodbye anyway. Goodbye to a man that always tried his best, always with the best intentions. And I'm sending you your last job, Dad. And that's to look after our Matilda, which I know in my heart you'll do forever. Dad, I know you're finally at peace now, and you'll never be forgotten. I love you, Dad.
Well done. Well done. I love you. Well done. Come and sit down.
I can stay with you.
You stay with me then, okay. Okay, firstly I'd like to say Geoff would be telling me that I look like a dog shitting razor blades because I'm shaking. Even with half a diazepam on board. PRN, by the way. I'd like to thank all of you for coming today to Geoff's service. I know it's a long way for a lot of you, and for those that can't attend through work commitments and illness, I understand, and he would too. I'd like to... My vows to Geoff summed up what I wanted to say. So, we got married about 4 years ago, after 15 years together. So here I go with vows. Geoffrey, after about 11, 12 years together, our long engagement has been an advantage to form the solid relationship that we now have. We've already been through so much together, and our relationship has survived all the odds. To say through sickness and in health is an understatement. All we've been through, illness, both physical and mental, your bowel cancer, my broken bones because I'm always falling over or doing something to myself, tragedy, we lost both of our mothers within a year of each other. And during my period of mental illness, you had already proven to stand by me, protect me, and on one particular occasion, you literally saved my life. All we have shared, so many things, new houses, new places, but particularly new beaches, and our love of listening to music. Our common interests and the love of the simple things in life, like nature, birds and sunrises, and our love of adventure, finding new places together like Emily Miller Beach. I value your cool-headed counsel and your committed patience with me. I'm a little hot-headed, and I think at times quite impulsive. You calm my fire and encourage me to slow down my racing thoughts and to think things through logically. This is my commitment, my solemn oath to you. Pardon me. My dearest Geoffrey. Fuck me, now I can't see. Can't see a thing. Even with my glasses on, pardon me. I've been losing them lately. Funny that. Okay, get it together. I'm on. It's just tough. I will love you, value you and your opinions, and I'll support you in any way possible, both physically and emotionally. I'll move on quickly from disagreements, laugh with you, cry with you, and share my deepest feelings and thoughts with you. I promise to be a loyal, thoughtful wife, and above all, to make sure we are happy together and no one else stands in the way of our marriage. Geoffrey, I love you so very much. You are my life, and without you, I would be lost completely, which I am. I'm now forever yours. So they're the vows. I've got a bit more, but I'm shaking like a dog shitting razor blades, so excuse me. Okay, when we first met, Geoff was 52 and I was 32. We briefly considered having a baby together. However, Geoff decided it would be unfair on the child growing up with such an old dad. So we decided that she would have been a girl and we would have named her Claire. She would now be 15 without her dad. When Geoff passed away in his sleep beside me in bed, I asked his spirit not to watch over me, but to go to his precious granddaughter Matilda, to give her strength to push through her battle with an insidious, aggressive cancer. And I hope and pray he's still with her, as a sweet little girl is still battling, still fighting, but she is so resilient, strong, and has her puppy pa's strength. By the way, Toots, when you're finished with him, I want him back. Rest easy, my love. Forever sleeping. Love you always, Bubs. George.
Hello, my name's Yvonne Potts and I'm Geoff's big sister. Together we gather to celebrate Geoff's life and say goodbye. I'll just get thoughts
breathe.
together, yeah.
Just
Sorry.
breathe.
Geoff was a caring, compassionate man with a sense of fairness and a dedication to his police work. Whilst he faced challenges of PTSD, depression and anxiety, we want to focus on the person he was before that illness. He showed resilience and courage in facing his daily challenges. However, through a combination of treatment, therapy and support of loved ones, he remained a strong, loving presence in his children's lives. One of the things he was passionate about was his music. He delighted in sharing that with others and often found it a source of healing and connection. Our lives have been touched by Geoff in some way, but you may not know some details of his early life. I think some of the stories you might have already heard, but I'll put my touch on it. Geoffrey Paul BERNASCONI was born on the 14th of May 1956 in Parkes. He was the youngest son of Cess and Glory BERNASCONI and baby brother of Yvonne and Victor. I thought he was just wonderful when he first came home. And I gave him a stupid name. I don't even know where I got it from. I used to call him Lammy Poodle. And honest to God, he was no lamb and he was certainly no poodle. They lived at Bogangate at the time and they later moved to Brewarrina, Menindee, Port Kembla and then Lake Illawarra South or Warilla, whatever you want to call it. Geoff attended kindergarten in St Francis Xavier's Catholic School in Wollongong and completed his further primary schooling at Stella Maris School in Shell Harbour. In kindergarten, he was He was picked to perform at the Wollongong of Stedford, so he was only 5, for verse speaking, and he received an honourable mention for his poem. His secondary schooling was at Christian Brothers College in Wollongong, and his interest in music developed, and he formed a band with school friends. The band was called Cheesecloth Contraption. He had been reading the book about the Wright brothers and their primitive flying machines, hence the name. As a toddler, he was a little devil. Once he came to Mum in the kitchen asking if we had white chooks, but Mum said, "No, Geoff, only black chooks." Well, we have now. But he had a co-conspirator with that little adventure. His big brother Vic had found the paint. "Geoff, paint the chooks." So he'd whitewash the chooks with the paint that Dad used to clean and whitewash the roost in the chook yard. He was also a bit of a bowerbird, and he found a loose knot of wood in the floor hidden under the mat, and this was his treasure chest of all things little kids collect, or little boys particularly. Sticks, stones, marbles, pennies, matchbox cars, pieces of Meccano set, Mum's earrings, even rosary beads, and my watch. My watch had been missing and I'd been in serious trouble because I'd lost it. Anyway, Dad had to crawl under the house and get it. And Dad must have caught him using his depository and was able to retrieve lots of missing objects from under the house. Anyway, he had a special bond with his grandfather Charlie Coombe, who was Mum's dad, who lived with Mum and Dad, Geoff and Vic, at Lake South. And my recollection of him at high school is limited, as I had begun my nursing career. I was 9 years older than Geoff, and Vic's 5 years older, and lived at the Wollongong Hospital Nurses' Home. However, he once came to that all-girls domain, as Mum and Dad had to go to Sydney, and he came to me for the day. He thought the risk-taking of his big sister smuggling a 10-year-old into this female domain as a great adventure. He even decided that a huge bubble bath in the nurse's bathroom was a wonderful idea, spending a good hour in the bath adding hot water and singing. He met my nursing colleagues, and when it came time for us to do our final exams, Geoffrey sent a good luck card to all of us for successful finals. Such a caring young man of 12 years old. Our Mum and Dad were very proud of him when he purchased his first home at 20 years of age. He joined the police force in Redfern of class of 158 and graduated on the 3rd of April 1978. He was a police officer for 22 years. 16 years of his career was spent in the Forensic Services Group, and Geoff retired as Senior Sergeant Acting Inspector in 2000. My brother, there has been an unremitting onslaught of emotional pain and loss, and the shadows created in this grief process can teach us much, and our lives have been changed forever. I'll just take a big breath. I would now like to read a quote from a SIDS magazine that I think is fitting. "Some people come into our lives and quickly go. Some stay for a while and leave their footprints in our hearts, and we are never ever the same. To forget is to deny, to remember is to survive. Our memories are their survival." To all of us, he was a loving son, grandson, brother, husband, father, grandfather, uncle, nephew, brother-in-law, cousin and dear friend. Thank you, Geoffrey BERNASCONI, for being part of our lives. Have a cup of tea, and don't forget a beer with Dad, because it's the 111th birthday today. So go to your eternal rest, little brother, and peace be with you now.
Well, Big Brother's got nothing written down. He's going to wing it. I was thinking a lot about Geoff and us when we were teenagers. I think I was just about to go in the army, and me and him decided to go out and have a few drinks. We went to the Wollongong Lighthouse, and I was a car fanatic. My car was spit polished. So what Geoff did, obviously I gave him too much to drink, bad big brother, and he climbed onto the bonnet, over the roof and down the other side. And I went, where's he gone? Where's he gone? But that was Geoff, fun-loving. He was a good boy. But I was thinking also about his life in the police force. Thanks, mate. And I was a little bit dirty on the police force because I felt they left him out wring out to dry, if you understand what I mean. But after talking to a colleague and a police officer acting, I totally changed my mind. I think that he was the trendsetter for cases to follow on PTSD in the police force. And thanks, mate. Changed my mind on that subject. He was a great little brother. We had lots of fun together. The chooks were. The chooks. Well, I got the paint. I said, paint them, Geoff. You want them white? Paint them. So he painted them. And I didn't say it was me. So Geoff did it. Geoff did it. So that was a funny thing. All these things remind me of this. Yeah. Rest in peace, my little brother. Thank you for listening. Thanks, guys.
You right? Hello. Oh God, my heart's beating so hard. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Emily. I'm Geoffrey's other daughter, and deciding what to say today was one of the hardest things I've had to do. I found a poem that I wanted to read before I finish with some words from myself. I thought of you with love today, but that is nothing new. I thought about you yesterday, and the day before that too. I think of you in silence, and I often speak your name. Now all I have are memories and your picture in a frame. Your memory is my keepsake, with which I'll never part. And now that you're laid to rest, I'll hold you in my heart. Now just a little bit from me. I couldn't do stories today, sorry, so just a few words.
Okay. Mark, take as long as you want.
Take a little rest.
You look beautiful when you cry.
Thanks, mate.
Looks pretty hot, actually.
My baby brother.
I'll say baby these days.
No, he's bloody huge. Okay. My time with you was simply not enough. But how much time would ever be enough? Perhaps in another life we'll be granted more time. Until then, I'll spend the remainder of my lifetime doing all the things that we promised we would. I'll spend my life keeping your memory alive and living every day the way I know that you wish you could have. Sorry, I'm a bit of a mess.
Understandable.
All right, this one's hard. This is a tearjerker, all right? And wherever you are, I hope the skies are bluer, the colours are brighter, and the world is kinder. And until we meet again, rest easy, Dad. I love you then, and I love you now, and I'll love you forever. Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Don't apologise.
Don't be sorry. It's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're not leaving. You're going to start here with me. God, don't put me on jail like that. I just got to blame my nose again.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Can you just... This is hard, isn't it?
You'll be right. You look like a bouncer, mate.
Well, I'm not a bouncer. I'm a plasterer. Alright, guys. Alright. Well, Dad, you truly were my best mate, my rock, my safe place. You taught me many, many things, but I think most importantly, you taught me the ability to know that if you really put your mind to something, anything is possible, and to never be afraid to give anything a go. And most importantly, you taught me how to be strong in the face of adversity and never give up on yourself. To say my father was a good man would be an absolute understatement. He was an amazing man who would go above and beyond and provide for those who he held close to him. I'll never forget the memories we shared, Dad, from the budding snags those winter Saturday mornings, trimming your roses in the garden, and just always having a shoulder to lean on when I needed. I'm so grateful to have had such a strong bond with you, Dad. I know you'll continue to be with me even though you're no longer here, physically here. Your love and guidance will stay with me forever. Dad, I miss you, mate. I know life won't be the same without you here, but I know you'd want me to hold my head high and keep making you proud. I love you, mate. Rest easy. Love your big man, Thomas.
Well done, mate.
One life on this earth is all that we get, whether it is enough or not enough. And the obvious conclusion would seem to be that at the very least we are fools if we do not live it as fully and bravely as we can. And this is what Geoff did, lived his life the best way he could. Let us pause for a moment to reflect on the special memories each of you have as we watch this photo tribute.
took my love, took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in snow-covered hills till the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Oh, I'm getting older too. Take my love, take it down. Climb a mountain and turn around. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, where the landslide will bring it down. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide will bring it down. Oh, the landslide will bring it down.
All those we have known and loved are inextricably woven into our lives. Like tributaries merging into a river, streams winding their way down a mountain, and underground springs, which though unseen, cleanse and renew the waters. So it is with the loving relationships we have known. As they have joined in our lives, their love and their gifts to us become part of who we are, blended imperceptibly through the ripples and rapids of our lives. All those in our lives, no longer here in form, are made present again when we love one another well and fulfill their hopes and legacies for our lives. There is but one source of life, and we are all carriers of its flow. Let us give thanks for the love and light of Geoff, and let us remember the words of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. All those we have known and loved become a part of us. Geoff is a part of each one of you now and forevermore. Let us bow our heads as I share with you the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, therefore can I lack nothing. He shall make me lie down in green pastures and lead me beside still waters. He shall refresh my soul and guide me in right pathways for his name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff comfort me. You spread a table before me in the presence of those who trouble me. You have anointed my head with oil, and my cup shall be full. Surely your goodness and loving kindness will follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Geoff's final resting place is in the Polson Cemetery, and we're going to proceed out there for a short committal service. On conclusion of the service, you are warmly invited to join the family in light refreshments and a further sharing of memories at the Harvey Bay RSL. Those who do not wish to go to the cemetery, please feel free to head to the RSL and the family will join you shortly. As our service here in the chapel draws to a close, I ask you to take a moment and think about what Geoff meant to each of you as I conclude with this poem titled Celebrate My Life. Remember me with love and joy. Let gratitude fill your heart. Thankful for the time we had, gone yet not apart. If we measured life in moments, not in months or years, I lived 100 lifetimes, loved by all who held me dear. I hope you'll find your smile and generously speak my name, share stories and my heart, your love for life unchanged. Celebrate the life I lived. I'll be watching from above. I am always with you, sending you my light and love. We conclude our part of the service here in the chapel. I now invite the pallbearers to come forward and lead us out.
These mist-covered mountains are a home now for me, but my home is the lowlands, and always will be. Someday you'll return to your valleys and your farms, and you'll no longer burn to be brothers in through these fields of destruction, baptisms of fire, I've witnessed your suffering as the battle reached high, and though it hurt me so bad, in the fear and alarm, you did not desert me, my brothers in arms. sun's gone to hell. The moon's riding high. Let me bid you farewell. Every